Hi, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to use getters and setters for private attributes. Here we are having a class called student, and the constructor requires two arguments, and we are going to assign, actually this constructor is going to assign these two arguments to our two private attributes. So one of them is name and one of them is grade, and they are private because we see double underscore there. Then we are having the getter method function, which is called getGrade, and basically it is going to return the grade for us. So whenever this function is called, it is going to return the grade. So this is why we are naming it a getter method. So it is going to get the method, get the grade, sorry, and show it to us. Okay, so it is going to return the grade for us. So it is a useful way to access private attributes. Then we are having the setter method called setGrade, and it requires one argument, and the argument is the grade that we would like to have for a student, for example. And when we are calling this setGrade function, we would like a value to be assigned or to be set for our private attribute. We are going to do it using setter methods, using this set underscore grade function. So when we call this function, we need to have one argument. And first of all, we check if that argument, if that number, if that value, let's say, that we pass while calling this function is something between 0 and 100, because this is the range in which we can provide a grade. If this condition is true, assign the passed argument to our grade attribute. Otherwise, show this message. Invalid grade, it must be between 0 and 100. For example, if we call this function with number 150 or 120 or -20, it is going to show this message invalid grade. So let me illustrate this concept with an example. Here we are creating an object or an instance of this class called student1. Then the name of the class is written, which is the student. Then we are having two arguments, Alice and 85. So the name and the grade. So when we are creating the object, we learned that the constructor is going to be called automatically. And these two arguments, Alice and 85, that are assigned are these two arguments that are passed while creating the object are assigned to our private attributes that are on double underscore name, double underscore grade. Okay, so here we created an object. We are passing two arguments, Alice and 85, and these are assigned to our private attributes. Then we would like to access the private attribute that we have through getter method. To do that, we simply use the print function. Then we, in the parentheses, we write down the name of our object, which is student1, dot, and then the name of the function, which is getGrade, and we have nothing in parentheses because we, apart from self, we have no argument in parentheses for the getGrade function. Therefore, the way that we can call this function is just writing down the object that we created from the student class dot the name of the function. And this is going to actually return the grade for us. So whenever this function is called, it is going to show the grade, which is a private attribute. So it is a correct way to access a private attribute. Okay. And therefore, we are going to print the output, the returned value of this function, which is 85, because the grade is going to be shown. It is 85, and it is going to be printed in the output. So we expect to see number 85, first of all, when we run this code. Then we would like to modify this grade. But how do we do that? In order to modify the grade, we use the object dot, then the name of the set underscore grade function, because this function is going to modify the private attribute for us. And we are having the number 90 being passed as the argument. So the set grade function is called and 90 is passed, and we are checking to see if 90 is between 0 and 100. Yes. Therefore, assign 90 to our private attribute, which was 85 before. So the double underscore grade now equals 90. Okay. So now we modified the grade, and we would like to again call the getGrade function to show us the grade that we modified, and we expect to see 90 when we call the getGrade function using the student1 object. After all, I would like to modify one more time the grade attribute, but this time I use the object and I call the set grade, and then I type down number 150. So this set grade function is called. When this function is called, 150 is passed as argument. Here we check is if 150 is between 0 and 100. No, it's not true. Therefore, it is going to show this message. Invalid grade must be between 0 and 100. So when I run this code, first of all, we see number 85 being printed in the output coming from here. Using the getGrade function, we were accessing the grade attribute, which was a private attribute. Then we modify the grade using the setGrade function. After that, we are calling the getGrade function again to show us the modified grade attribute. So we see that it's 90 now. Finally, we would like to set the grade. So we would like to modify the grade one more time, but we are sending one number that is more than 100. So the number should be something between 0 and 100, but we are passing the argument 150. Therefore, when we are talking about 150, it's not passing this condition, so it is not going to be assigned to our grade private attribute. Finally, it is going to show this message because we fall into the else part, and here it says invalid grade must be between 0 and 100. So in this video, actually, we learned how to use setter and getter methods to access or modify private attributes in Python. Here we were having a getter function simply returning the value of the private attribute, and we were having a setter function that was assigning a new value to our grade private attribute. And if the new grade was not something between 0 and 100, it was going to show this message to us in the output saying that invalid grade must be between 0 and 100. Thank you for watching.